Sam Mastrogiacomo, and I left the military as a master sergeant. I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in the Italian neighborhood, you know, and more before World War II. I guess even now, they had most big cities had the Italian section, the Irish section, the Jewish section, and you lived in your own neighborhood. And when you went out of your neighborhood, it was like went into a different country. Well, when I got on with Army Air Force, or Army Air Corps, and they changed to Army Air Force. So I actually was part of the Army. Right after Pearl Harbor, I was working in a machine shop, and predominantly German descent, German people. And the Germans were great machinists. And when Pearl Harbor happened, the day after, my boss, who was the owner, he came up to me and he said, our Atlantic fleet is destroyed. He said, we better start learning to speak German or Japanese. So I said, not if I could help it. So the day after, I worked in the center of the city in Philadelphia, and the recruiting officers, they had like three blocks of people trying to get into the service. I mean, the patriotism were really something. And I wanted to join up with them. So I started pestering my mother, because if you're underage, you had to go get your parents' signature, okay? And if you're under 21. So I was 19 at the time, and I told my mother I wanted to go into the service. I think it was the day after, a couple of days after Pearl Harbor, I was called at the Philadelphia Navy Yard. I had an application to work there. They built ships, you know, so I think a couple of days after, I got called at the Philadelphia Navy Yard, and one of the fellows I worked with, he was so patriotic. We used to give blood once a month, and he used to go about every week and give blood, and he sort of looked pale. And the guy said, "Hey, how often you give him blood? You're looking pale." "Oh," he said, "the boys are dying for us." So then he said, "I'm going to go join the military." He said, "Are you game?" I said, "Yeah, I'll go with it." So we went over to recruiting. I said, "Well, what are we going to do?" And he said, "Oh, I'm going to go for being a paratrooper." I said, "Oh, that sounds good. I like that." So we both took the examination, and because he was an orphan, he didn't have to get his parents' signature. So I passed everything, and they said, "Well, all you have to do is take his paper home to your mother and get her to sign in, and you're in." So I went home, and so I joined the military. "What?" So all I have to do is to get your signature, and I'm in. "Why don't you wait till you get drafted? They have a draft going on now." She said, "What are you going to do in the Army?" I said, "I'm going to be a paratrooper." She said, "Well, you know, the Italian descent." She said, "What's they do? What's a paratrooper?" I said, "They jump out of airplanes." My mother said, "Oh, I got a crazy kid." So she wouldn't sign, but she tore the paper. "Wait until they call you." And I just kept it after her, and I finally convinced her, and she signed for me. The reason she accepted me to go in, they had an advertisement on the radio. if you have a trade like a welder or an automobile mechanic or a machinist, you can go in and you pick the base nearest to your home for the basic training, and they'll give you sergeant stripes after you go through the course. And so when I had my mother listen to this commercial to go in the service, so she said, "Okay, you can go in." So I got in as a machinist, and but I didn't intend to stay at the machine. So after basic training, he put me in a machine shop, and I was getting like I think we were getting $75 a month, I think, and the civilians working right next to me, they're making like $150 a week with overtime and all, and I'm getting $75 a month. I said, it's kind of crazy. I'm over in a machine shop, but I wasn't satisfied with that anyway. I wanted to get something so a little more dangerous. So I wanted to help to win the war. On the bulletin board, I seen a sign: if you have perfect eyes and good health, you can be an aircrew member and a bomber. So I said, oh, that sounds good. So I went over and I took the examination. I passed everything, and they signed me up to be a gunner, sent me out to be a gunner. They sent me to Texas to go to air gunnery school. So my regular tail gunner, he got sick one day, and I took his place in the tail. So I said, "Hey, Bill, I like that tail turret." He said, "You could have it, you want it?" So we switched. That's our plane with the BTO with Circle F. So that's our bomb group with Circle F. And I was on the back head of the tail turret. So I like the tail turret, and the thing I adopted. And I was too big for the tail turret, actually, too tall. I had long legs and all. I had to modify the turret a little bit, so I got big feet, and getting in and out, I always catch the heel of my feet on the edge of the seat. So I cut the seat away with a hacksaw. And then there was a valve that always hit my right knee. It's a shut-off valve. So I heated the tubing and bent it over so I had more clearance for my knee. So that was my job, my plane. On the way to target, and our plane was selected to have the camera on the bottom hatch to show the bomb strikes. And I was supposed to, on the bomb run, like 7 minutes before onto the target, I was supposed to get out of the turret and turn this camera on to record the bomb strikes. But anyway, and we had a pretty good position. We were in the lead element, and it seemed like an hour into the mission, we started to get hit by fighters. And now this was long before they had the long range escort, like the P-51s come out with the longer range. This plane started to go down. We were being attacked, and before we had a pretty good position. I had planes behind us, and all at once I started to see less and less planes behind us because they were being shot down. And And this Goring's Special Squadron, they had the yellow nose, and they were really experienced pilots, and like each German fighter pilot had maybe 25, 50 planes that had credit already. And when we seen that yellow nose Focke-Wulf 190s and Messerschmitts, we knew we were in trouble because the yellow nose, they were a little better than the normal pilots, German pilots. Anyway, as we're going over to the target, and when we were on the bomb run, I had to get out of the plane. Even though we were under attack, I had to quick get out of that turret on the bomb run and turn the camera on, and I quick jump back in the turret. And I don't know what happened right after that. My turret got hit, and so 2 or 3 20 millimeters hit our plane, our tail turret, and it's a safety glass, maybe a little bit bigger than in front of, maybe a little bigger, and the safety glass got hit. The safety glass was about an inch and 5/8 thick, and the safety glass got hit, and I couldn't see out of it because it was like a spider web, cracks. I got to get rid of that safety glass to see the German fighter planes that are coming in. So there's 4 pins you pull out, 1 in each corner, and get rid of the glass. So I pull the pins out, and I'm trying to push the glass out. It won't come out. So I lean back and push 3 times. It wouldn't come out. So I'm praying about it. God, give me the strength. And I get back again. And this time, the glass got loose and fell between my guns. And my guns were elevated, and I got caught between the guns. And so when I went to operate the turret to get the guns down, I found out the turret's not working automatically, you know. So they had hand cranks that, in case that happened. So I took the hand cranks off and put one was up and down and one was horizontal. So I lowered the guns and the glass come flying off. And about that time, I right in my sights, I said a German plane, like he seemed to be like 150 feet away, and he looked like he was ready to press his trigger. And your trigger fingers were right there on the handles, but when the turret went out, it wouldn't work. So it's an emergency firing pin on the floor. So I had hit that. When I hit that, I hit the German plane that blew apart. It was a good spot. When at least 220 millimeters hit my turret, and those 20 millimeters were made so like they blow apart when they hit on contact. So they hit my turret, and then all at once I'm feeling something out of my neck, you know, and it's burning. And we had the fur collars, you know, the fleece line. I look at it red, and I look at my fingers and it red. And they knew that the tail turret got hit, and the pilot said, "Sam, are you all right? Sam, are you all right?" I hear him over my interphone, but I was in shock over there. And then I had to put throw my bite mic on, and so he said, Bill Powell, go back, see how Sam's doing." So he come back, and I guess I was in shock or something, and maybe my face was white, I don't know. Sam, are you all right? And I pointed my collar. I thought I got hit and something, I was afraid to feel my neck. I thought like it was a big hole in my neck or something. I felt, and he looked at it and he said, and he started laughing. He said, "You're right, it's only hydraulic fluid. One of the hydraulic lines that go across, and the hydraulic fluid is red. And it hit that line, and it's hot, from working." I thought I was wounded. I thought, oh, that's the end. And it was a big relief. I found out I wasn't wounded. It was just the hydraulic fluid. On that mission, we lost 13 out of the 25 airplanes that we went over the target with. When we landed, Jimmy Stewart, he was the movie actor. He was a commanding officer in our outfit. He come run out the airplane and he said, "How'd you do? How'd you do?" So our navigator said, "We lost most of our airplanes." Oh, he wiped his brow and jumped back in a Jeep, and he was like this, and he went back. When we went to the mess hall right after to eat, and it seemed that morning we had all the guys were hustling and a lot of activity, and everybody was lively. And when we went back to the mess hall, it looked like we're half the mess hall, more than half as empty as empty. And it felt so it didn't feel like eating anymore, I tell you. So it was a lonesome feeling. And we went back to the barrack, and the 3 bomber crews in each barrack, and we were the only ones left in the barracks. So I felt a little better when they told us we're going to get the presidential unit citation for the mission. And they took the pictures of our camera that showed and it showed like a 90% hit of the target area. And we hit the Messerschmitt aircraft factory, and there was planes lined up, and it was snowing on the ground. With snow, it was a cold day, and with the snow on the ground, you could see the airplanes that were lined up to go, new airplanes that would be shipped out, and we hit right amongst that. We hit the factory. So I think it was 85% of the factory was destroyed.